It's starting now. Alright, it's live.
Okay. Start it.
Earlier you said to wait for people.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna wait on the title screen. The scary, scary title screen.
I don't think I hear myself. Let me check. Do I hear myself?
Do you hear yourself?
Okay, I do.
Alright, good. Check view. I'm the oh my god, Tiny Face is the tiny bunny!
It's not actually a tiny bunny.
Tiny Face, you know that this is a horror game, so it's very scary.
Not very scary, it's spooky.
It's very scary. I'm going to poop myself playing this.
Honestly, you might.
No, I'm definitely not. I've never gotten that scared.
I'm one person that doesn't show emotion when scared. I either like jump or get shivers. Well, get chills.
I know that for a fact, because when we went on my first roller coaster, you were stone-faced. We were both stone-faced.
I can't like laugh happy, like enjoy that. But yeah, I was definitely stone-faced, like.
We were both stone-faced, but yours was funnier.
Yeah, because I have such an innocent face, but yet when you see my, like, stone-cold face, you just laugh. It's funny.
One day I'm gonna upload that video of me being like, should we record it? And then just you doing the face.
Who is Johnny G?
Who knows, but it's a new viewer.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Oh, I cut myself.
Bro, imagine cutting yourself could not be me.
Wait, no, that was the cat.
Bro, imagine being the cat could not be me.
That's some cap.
Bro, it is
okay,
not
you can
some
start.
cap.
You have 4 viewers. You can start now.
What do you mean you're not really that new to the channel? How long have you been on this shit? Oh my god, he was Banana! Banana! Bro. Yeah, I just uploaded a 500 sub special, Tiny.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm scared.
Don't be. You're already streaming, so might as well play it.
I'm gonna play it. I started it.
I'm watching from stream, so.
Yeah.
See, I've seen the whole playthrough. Well, not the whole playthrough because obviously it's been edited.
Yeah.
Because I watched it from a YouTuber that called Markiplier. You know
Markiplier. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air.
Wait, I'm gonna mute on Discord actually, since I'm not watching it.
They were wait, am I muted on Discord?
No, actually, stay unmuted so they hear me.
Alright.
Yes, you're muted on Discord. I don't hear you.
Alright. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days, and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest.
This is all art, by the way, just saying.
Yeah. And the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, just straight up back and forth. Some reasons, but scary. Yeah. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there's nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm.
I don't want to spoil anything, so I know it's happening. I know it's gonna happen soon.
Alright. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was my imagination. It was already 12 after all. Still. Oh, that's
It's
a
the ice
raccoon.
screen. Bro,
It was
I
a
love
raccoon.
the ice screen.
Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line and I couldn't understand, and after reading it 3 times anyway. Oh, I'm scared.
I'm
How
saying
do
this
you
now, Luke,
pronounce
remember it.
that? Yeah?
And this game goes based off of your choices.
Alright. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest in our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like
Don't spoil anything, Jenny.
Right. It looked like a jellyfish from the Coastal Odyssey. I love that show. Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I
Lots
just
of
say?
reading.
I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. I don't think that's what it says. I think that's a backwards N. Hey, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that.
You aren't tiny. Well, I guess if you're calling yourself the tiny bunny.
She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it?
You won't be tiny. I'm just saying that now. You are not tiny.
No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice.
It's Luke.
Bro, it's me. Taiga is a special place, little girl.
Yo.
I forgot how to pronounce that word. Oh my god. It's
Mr.
watching you
Ice
closely,
Cream Dude.
sniffing you out. Trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in the times of
Comes
trouble.
in late in the game, Tiny. This whole game plays through about an hour to an hour and 30 minutes.
But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared
From
for
what
her
I've
funeral.
seen, it's an hour and 30 minutes.
She had already bought a casket and called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland creature. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of the frost formed
What
a
time
picture on the
exactly?
glass.
Actually, hold on.
Oh yeah, look, it's a fox. Yeah, this is the screen from before. I noticed this right as it was disappearing. Where? It almost looked like those optical illusion things they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, there's the nose, and here's, hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is, but it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh, it does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It's gone. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. What is going on in chat? My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Okay, I don't know what is going on in chat. Olia always covers her ears when she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my sister could be torn apart and taken in two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? Toby Stark. I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still. Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr. I cannot read, guys. Martyr out of yourself and finish eating it already. And the owl? There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Oya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl? But I saw it. Oya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Oya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. Bro, imagine typing in chat. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad had to glue together once. What the heck? Tiny, what? What the heck, Tiny? Tiny, what? It's so easy to fix objects, by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Oya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons help her take her mind off the troubles. Oh my god. Wait, I feel a burp. Alright. Cartoons helped oh my god. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. The hell? Then Oya said that she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Oya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure of what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisted hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students... Oh my god. Right. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and a pair of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? I'm playing a scary game. On stream. Hello, Snug. My dog just walked in, and my mom did too. You trying to go under my desk? You can't go under my desk. What? Yeah. Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything that to happen to it. It doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. Hold on. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My glaze slid across the drawing hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends, I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagined the mom picking up the phone and saying in cold voice, "You got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Bro, you guys can't vote my dog. He's cute. Bro, no. Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easy-going during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet, cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Oh my god. I'm yawning so much. Alright. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my diseased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts, too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there, amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Alright, let's check. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backup. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Fours! Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh, I'm scared. It's gonna show right on the thing. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's caskets. I imagined those little creatures climbing up on her head and pulling her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would move once again inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the blanket, listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Bouillon, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of the color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair where the spawn from devil's lair, to feast and always leave alone, God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums, In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Our dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he were looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of the darkness. And then... oh! The doorknob twitched slightly. It turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Tony! Oh, what? What'd I do? Doors open. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony! Tony! My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate stream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Oya? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Oya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away. Tony, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I need to calm Oya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Oya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have the scary bird? Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with her eyes was while dancing feverishly under the moon. The darkness was clinging to the window, and I couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Oh. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Oh! It kind of scared me. Not fully, but... it kind of scared me. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Oya and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from a silly thought that our morning's guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Oya always hides. Tony, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but I still dragged them towards the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. I mean, I have FNAF. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello. The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The police held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with the wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I rarely leave the house. I just saw a jump scare. I'm not going to be scared.
I'm not scared.
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your house looks straight at the forest at night. Your windows look straight at the forest at night, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. His stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt which his giant shadow had cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me once more with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. Oh, I didn't see that. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles, haha, always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? 6th. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to the school for the first time after the break. Ah, then. I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone, along with their shadows, and the smell of cheap cologne in the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other, like they always do, and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window, at the road. The police UAZ drove towards the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I'd read this summer. I'm just checking if there's anything. Right. Your average boys and girls investigated all sort of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of the policeman's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Oya will be so happy. Not only Oya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. 5 views? Jeez. Maybe it'll even save us from the D word? I fantasize about buying Oya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself, and a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what the accountant's job was like. They count money, I think? Neighbors used to envy us. Nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had any money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Oya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. Wait, did I miss something? No, I didn't. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was just still a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out, looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. Oh, so the forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals, or something even worse? Even worse, I echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Yeah, I could probably play FNAF next. Which way should I go, guys? Which way should I go? I'm gonna check under the stairs quickly. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself with the freshly sharpened axe. And Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babayo's living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp, so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratchy yards. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the... I'll go to yard after. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Alright. Anton, I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. Alright, I can't go to yard. So, I guess we're going to kitchen. Let's... Amerkam of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, snow drifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. The decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in my grandma's house. Oh, I missed something. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from the ferry. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the gray leaf and threw it to the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. Alright, let's see what's this. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters, the name of Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had nicknamed Lord of the Flies. Second letter is E. Alright, let's check the fridge. Oh yeah, I'm using. Open. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together. Pelmini? I grew to hate them already. Oh, this thing. Mom's peg top, a family relic. Mom played with it when she was little, and then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession to me. Succession. Why can't I pronounce words, guys? Succession. Secession. What is this word? The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the squeaky peg top. I just want to see. Wait a second. The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings, mom's recipes, and all kind of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olya liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of rolled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov, I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to the safer place where it would wait for its time, and I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Succession. Alright. Anton. Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. Anton, get your butt out of the closet immediately. Oh, the cross. The cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was as black as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell out from under the step ladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Let's check the phone. My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice leading chords. Ice leading chords. Butter dog with the butter. I need to distract Mom somehow, or I'll get stolen and get my butt whipped with Dad's leather belt. Alright. I don't understand what I need to do. What do I need to do? Bro, you're dead? Well, let me check Discord. Yeah, my brain is dead too. Press turn back. Alright, I did. Press open. See, that doesn't do anything though. What do I do?
Машина, в которой он находился,
Oh.
была обстреляна неизвестными вооруженными лицами.
Куплю жене сапоги.
Это просто, Леня. АО ММС.
What happened? What happened? It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from Mom. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ah, you're killing me here. So you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope would go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please, go see for yourself. Strange. It worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. We getting out, man. I opened the front gate and went to the field, carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, or laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day, it all changed. Something important had left our home. Something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home, the eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything, and sometimes far away, a siren who was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust in belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. Oh my god. My screen is so bright right now. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Oh, there's a thing there. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest, or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I think that's a glove. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow. When I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. Yeah, it's a mitten. It looked like a wounded bird from among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? The senior officer looked gloomy, but reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Street of Broken Lights. He was always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but brave and strong. Will this mitten help him find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. It looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees. Hiding. Vova! Hey, there's nothing here. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground, its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment. When I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. Oh, I'm scared. Jump scare time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. I'm gonna take it. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Oh, there was something there. Bova. There are things there. A shout rumbled from across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Oh, I'm scared. It didn't budge. I pulled harder. The branch cracked and the mitten tore it off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking, and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Oh my god! I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of crackling branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. There's one more voice. Probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my eyes and ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils stuck in the freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing, a hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried-up raspberry bush, from the twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from under the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Damn. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The push on my leg was gone. My boot slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings against and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was so much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and obediently gave away. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped on the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, with it the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice ran out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look, over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look in the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me, like a bunny. And what if they're a rabbit? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it were her first time seeing them. What if they attacked Olya? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this mitten? Of course. A dark, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy that made a squishy sound in my hand. Seemed like I was crushing it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Voba's mitten. That's the boy the police were talking about this morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police straight away, like the officer had told us to. Mom, look. You. A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if you were trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slipped away. Hello, Tiny. Stop at this moment. Olya would go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time, and you joke around like this? At the moment I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, who cried Wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you... Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly alpha water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten after all, just like the forest monsters, and only his owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside me anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on bathroom tiles. Light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower, and the saliva in my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar and Lago's voices died down. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. Monsters, Ghosts, UFOs, the Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Rossman Publishing. I learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Olia is always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but in the middle part where they start to talk about ghosts really freaked her out. I even remember hunting ghosts after I'd read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force come the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the Ghost? Hello. Hold on, I'm going to check something. Alright. Let's see, there's this, and this. My Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs. Velociraptors, Afronovators, I don't even know how to pronounce that one. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And sitting next to it was a Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up in the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zentradi space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. And then I just want to check these two before I open. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about a gendarme. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. Alright, I'll open. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. The simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. But only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped on the seats. Whether it was due to medication I took, or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. I don't know. The room's corners bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visor, just like a savant of sorts. Olya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried lips. Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped slowly by curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtains, beat my heart, controlled my medication. The wind sang the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return on the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha. I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindly bright halo lit up above Olya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad used to always say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, "But Dad, she's not some flashlight." I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched her commanding tone of voice. Okay, Tycoon. It's nothing, just... Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round and asked, "You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief?" "What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything." A clear image came to mind. That man hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. "Is this someone's mitten?" She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself. Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to walk into the forest, right? He must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. Why are they going to houses, not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness cold and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense, an owl won't be able to lift a human. Oh my god. I am getting tired of streaming today, but I will complete this game. I promise you guys I will complete the game. But you know what? I was picking my words with the utmost care. I forced them out of my overextended brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's, how should I put it, cursed or something. Yes, I do know Undertale. It used to be my favorite game. Just like in a fairy tale? No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone's chasing you? No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower. Can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Yeah, and if you make them as small as bugs, you could place them into a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of highness apathy. I'm too tired, I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of her tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know, let's go play hide and seek. No, Olya. Then draw me a dino. Olya, please. Draw it. Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken back. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And then I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Well, close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. You want to bet I won't spill it? Tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Just go look for it. Olya disappeared into the hallway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. A piggy bank. Olya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Olya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olya doesn't sleep without it. She digs her nose into his fur when she sleeps. And the last one is the scary window where Olya sees that cursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olya keeps her curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she won't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. Oh, it's gonna be something scary. The TV warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. What? The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? The local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. There's gonna be something, I bet. Oh, never mind. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. From the tape I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. The rustling was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head. Me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I notice that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us and Olya. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come, sit. Mom and Dad are arguing again. They're going through rough times. Rough times are lame. PN the screen. Right. PN the screen. Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Oh, it's supposed to be on. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow onto the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana. Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too? Yeah, right. I'll have my own dog in the Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot. Olya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. Have you lost all of your baby teeth? Obviously. Olya frowned, deep in thought. Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth? We'll think of something. We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport. And why would Dad forge documents? Olya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full. He woo. I heard Mom say he did that before. You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Olya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, and James Hook, as if she got stuck into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where one never argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tony, shut the curtains fast. Why? No one's watching you. It's so dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Yeah, let's just close them. I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night, and I swiftly grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. It doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. I'll get tired of waiting and fly away. It was madness, but after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Olya's owl existed. We followed Peter Pan's adventure as if nothing had happened, but as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Bye, Johnny. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was heading to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, it lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As I sleep and ensure my classmates would like me. I cover myself with the blanket up to my neck and listen to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal eternity, or some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind held on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before coming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Oh! I did it! Bro, Tycoon Man, check Discord. Well, even if I didn't get the right ending, I got a ending. I'm happy for that. Alright, well, I'm gonna exit the game for now. God, this is so bright. Oh, alert box. That should be down there. Okay. Hello.
How would you rate it in spoopiness?
I'd say in scariness, like a 3 out of 10, but in the general vibe of scariness, like a 5 out of, or 6 out of 10.
See, it probably would have been more higher for both of them if you looked at the stupid TV instead of the cabinet.
I did.
No, you did. When you went to go near the end where it said, "I didn't want to disappoint." Oh yeah. I'll tell you what would have happened. Okay, so what would have happened is instead of you looking into the drawer, it would have played more images of the bunny looking at you through the TV in the woods, staring at you. Then that the milk dude, that person would have explained what basically it was and all that. Then you would have recorded it on the Peter Pan disc in the credits, and then that's the end.
I see. How much would I rate the game? I'd rate it like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for the ending I got.
But it was a free game, that's the thing.
Yeah, it was a great game. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end stream.
What time is it? We can talk for 20 minutes if you want.
Yeah, so I'll end stream. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching the stream. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tiny's apologizing for calling the girl cute. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, bye guys!